On the streets at 91.9 FM every Thursday from 7 p.m. Hosted by Officer ISUPK and Officer Makoya. ISUPK under Commanding General Yahana live every Thursday night from 7 p.m. on the streets 91.9 FM.
Yeah, shalom again. This is ISUPK Trinidad and Tobago under Commander General Yahana and Prison Officer Swapiala.
Prison Officer Makwea.
And again, joining us again here tonight in the studio is, Dave, right? So again, we out again on the program tonight, to bring that reminder to brothers and sisters, to enlighten them, and to make brothers and sisters know that the Most High God, always, look over, the children of the nation of Israel, right? In providing, the necessary aid and need, that He has always done for us, in the time of our captivity, in the time of us being under the arms of our oppressor, right? And again, these are reminders for us, right? So again, I just want to remind brothers and sisters that our school location is, number 1 Morris Street, Point 14. Again, we invite our brothers and sisters, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, right? Again, they are the Lord's chosen people, right? To who the Most High God has chosen, to look over His affairs, as He has set up, this earth, to be right in His sight, right? So, these are reminders for us. Again, we have again young man, brother Dave. Right. I just add in the young again. Say this brother, we met this brother. He could have choose not to come here tonight. Right. This was by choice, right? And the brother, with the invitation, showed up and say Musa and Christ. So that's right. And the brother, has a lot, to share. But again, within that brief, time that we have or allotted on the program, we like the brother, to really, give a very brief, introduction, as well as, to enlighten brothers, young brothers, right, that the life that they have provided for us here, it is a life that we should, shun from or move our spirit away from, because again, we would pull up the stats as well, on that prison program, because again, the brother himself, shared, while interacting with him on the streets, right, in Port of Spain, and it is very important as well. So I know if you want to introduce yourself, but right.
Well, I'm the young brother.
Right.
Good night, everybody.
Right.
I joined this movement because I did with changes.
Right.
I fell off the way how I live in, so I come out voluntarily to advise other young men like me or younger men than me.
Right.
You really study the government, study the creator, the Most High.
Right.
And be willing, if you had to pick up bottles and all, to try to keep out of the system. All lives changing. That people on the streets, like this movement here, I never knew them no way. The first time I approached them, I was accepted with the arms open. No plaything, no jokey thing, and I decided to come tonight, just to make a challenge experience with the youths.
Right.
So I'm glad to be here.
Musa and Christ, Musa and Christ. And I know as young brother, Dave, start to, learn more, right? As you say, he willing to learn more, and this is a step, in change, and that is, as we say, like the Lord, in His work, right? Because now everything that we honor is unto the Lord, because the Lord is the one who would really open up that path, open us up, to enlighten or to bring the awareness to brothers and sisters, right? So in asking young Dave, right, to share his experience, because again, young man Dave, right, or Dave had life experience, in prison, right? And to be in prison, some people just come and talk about it, but actually have somebody live,
Right.
to give you a proper insight on it, right? It will be more clearer again, especially for young Black men, Hispanic men, and Native Indian men, because now the family that we belong to should always be reminded of this, especially a man with children, right? I know. I just want to ask, young man Dave, right? As a brother, growing up, right? And again, we just want to be brief, in sharing, your little history, right? Again, is a family man, right?
Yeah.
Right? How much, if you don't mind asking, a father of how much,
Our 3 daughters.
right? A father of 3 daughters, right? And
Chanel, Shanice, and Chanel.
right, right. And again, the brother, that sharing, his again his life experience, and the important, but understand the importance of how important this is to the Black community right now in Trinidad, especially what we facing daily, the challenges that we facing daily. To have our brother come on the program and just share that,
Right.
it is very important. Also, I know to be you could always
Can't
chime in.
say for me.
Yeah, go ahead.
This will be to the listening audience outside if
Mhm.
anybody want to call in and give their 2 cents as well too, or give their experience. You know what I mean? Number to call is 342-0081 466-5391 or 771-1791. We'll also like to hear from the people on the outside listening to the program as well. Any advice you like to give young man Dave, or experiences that they might go through.
Yeah.
You understand?
Mhm.
You can call in and share it with us brief, so that we understand what really happening with the people and them on the outside.
That's right. Right. So again, you can feel free to call in. Again, you could ask, questions. You could pose it to young man Dave, or to us as well, right? And just to ask, what would be, again, that experience of that life in prison, right? Some people, would give, like to enlighten brothers, right? Because now we want to make sure that we directing this in the right pathway, right? And that right pathway is to bring the advice, for brothers and sisters as well, to turn away from that life, right? Because just to ask, again, young man Dave, to share, like a life experience, in being in the prison, right? And again, everything it's so censored, right? You don't have to go in details, but you just brief like a brief insight for brothers and sisters, to understand that life, right?
Yeah. Well, I spent 8 years in prison, and it is not no bed of roses. It's a place where you can do what you want to do as a human being, which freedom is very important. The condition they're living in it poor. It's nothing like rehabilitation. They just use these rules to have the prison running and make people feel everything is everything. But what I could advise the young people in prison, the younger fellas, the fellas who have intention of doing wrong thing crimes, I could advise them they're not good. It is not a good place, it's a horrible place. It can make your life worse, it can make your life a living nightmare. What you have to do, stand, stay focused, and stay forward. Don't depend on the government, depend on the creator, depend on yourself. You must have some talent and work, you have things to do out there. You could invent your own, you could create your own thing to make money come, because I came out 1 year and I had nothing. And this same movement, these same brothers, they assist me 1 case of water, and I keep turning it over, and I still turning over, because I'm doing this to stay out of the prison, to stay out of trouble. And if I could do that, anybody else could do that, because while I'm in prison, I get 2 murder cases. The creator was on my side, so I went in the court and win it. So it is not a bed of roses lane. Everybody knows who's listening. Jail is not a bed of roses, and I give it all the youths advice. Try to stay out of here. Listen to all the mother, listen to the father, listen to the elder, listen to the right thing. And I believe everybody could change a life and be what they want to be. I don't believe nobody want to be bad. I don't believe nobody want to do evil things in their circumstances, situations. So I encourage all the young people to hear my voice, and I expect to be here more and more, to share more and more things, because as we say, time is limited, and stay strong, keep on focusing on the creator, that is the most important. And when they come out of the, whoever in the channel do come out by staying focused, staying focused, try to create some kind of living. Don't say the government is doing this and the government is doing that. You try to do for yourself. No doubt.
Right. Again, I appreciate that. Yeah, indeed. Right. Right. So again, we like to hear from the callers as well too. Now, to call in, and ask some question. Pose that question to the brother, because now, as you said, it ain't no better Rosal. We hear it direct from our brother. As we say, what that was on charges, right? Not just, as we say, no play or no game. Because now the importance of this again is to reach, as we say, the young brothers, or young black men. Because now we see, as we say, that a lot of things is happening in the black community, and the way out of the black community, the Most High God always provide that way, right? And He always bring that reminder as well to us, right? And the importance of us actually, turning to the Lord, the Most High God would always direct that pathway. Because now, again, the brother here, right, he just give a little brief detail, on that life, and brothers or again, our sisters shouldn't venture down that pathway, because our brother, again, three young girls. Now imagine now again, you have young girls now, and they would be interacting with young men. Now these men and them having a father as yourself, should be able to bring these men and them, so you could be able to share that life experience with these men and them, to make it known to these men and them, hey, as you say, taking my daughter hands in as you say, in marriage, right? You should be aware, and you're reminding your daughters as well. Do again, try to pressure out, to bring pressure down on your husband. You had to work together, right? Because not working together now, as we see, a lot of our brothers and sisters or brothers on a whole would venture onto that life, because now the lifestyle that could bring about, as we say, situation like this. And we'll read a little stats on the history of how prison started, or this whole prison program started, and the amount of money that is generated. And we just only using 2025, and I was amazed to see what is allocated just to have that program running, just to keep brothers, and again, or brothers on a whole, being pulled up, as you say, in a facility that don't even, give a care about, your lifestyle or any rehabilitation program, as you brought out, right? And
so, like I say,
go ahead.
Right, let's add a little bit to what you're saying, something we had to look at too. As we just always say, time after time we come on the radio station, you understand? The young black men and young black women, they look up to somebody like a father figure. So, somebody to look at as a role model. You understand? And the religious institutions, we have churches in almost every community, every zone. But what we had to ask ourselves is, what they doing to assist the young black men or guide them, you understand, in a way whereby they wouldn't end up in the prison system, black men and black women. You understand? When we read the Bible, you're seeing whereby our forefathers, they prophesied, you understand, about prison being in the Bible. Where we will go as a people in prison if we fail to adhere to the rules or the laws of the Most High. And just as we always say, every house have rules, every business have rules, every institution have rules. You understand? And if we don't obey the rules of these institutions or businesses, then it will not be able to run effective.
Right.
You understand? So now this nation, black people, Hispanics and Native Indians, if we do not adhere to the rules of the Lord, do not adhere to the rules of the Most High, then our nation will be ineffective. It will not be able to run properly. You understand? And not adhering to the rules of the Lord, this is where the curses of the Lord come in. Where he say in the book of Deuteronomy 28, if we fail to obey his rules,
Right.
these curses is going to overtake us.
Right.
You understand? And if
Right.
we adhere, then we will be above all these other nations. As if we, as you just rightfully say, when you're going to look at the statistics of black people in the prison system, you're going to see whereby who is the majority of people being in the system,
Right.
in the jail. You understand? And then you have to ask now, where is the solution to keep blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians out of the prison system? You understand? So like yes.
Right. Again, give it up to the brother again for bringing out that, because again, that strong point. And we always tell brothers and sisters there's always a solution to every problem. And that solution now do come from our thought, or we, thinking or bringing up our own concept of the all recorded history, which is the Bible. It actually have the solution to every problem.
Right.
Now, to get the solution to that problem, now you must find yourself, under that as we say, that umbrella, under that wing of righteous black men teaching you this. Because now to know that book is our recorded history, now you could actually look towards knowing, hey, I belong to this family, I belong to this house. Let me go back and ask questions, to get instructions on how to make change. And as we had the brother on the program, we tell brothers again or sisters, anybody, the listening audience, to call in the program, take the opportunity, to call and ask, because the brother just brought out some very heavy and very valid. And what he mentioned, it shouldn't be, to the top of our minds, because to venture down that pathway, or as we say, to be, as we say, 8 years, not being around your family, that is not a nice thing, and especially with, as you say, having daughters. Now, the example in being that, again, Abraham, as I said, the Lord had to be with you. The Lord had to be with you. And this brother, again, again, as you say, we thank the Lord, that, brothers like him and more brothers as well, could, venture on and, actually come and ask questions, right? Because again, we always remind brothers and sisters that we not affiliated with no religious group or organization. We are about people. This is where it is. This is not, as we say, any movement. This is what the Lord had created from the foundation. A people that we choose, just as I say, to be a royal and a special people unto himself. Because now, to be that people, now you must portray or demonstrate the example of your father, or have that, as we say, that repetition. So when somebody point or look at you now, they would say, hey, yeah, now you from your father as of a high status. That's why I say this is, as the scripture again say, that these people is a wise and understanding people. Right now, look at we right now, and again we will just read a little bit. Right, I have a little article here that read. Right, they say prison in Trinidad and Tobago begin with early colonial structure in St. Joseph in 1592, right? Port of Spain, right, evolving into a famous royal goy after a fire distress. So it starts within that, watch how long that period of time, but we know what was taking place at that time. Remember, again, a little brief history. The people them who was here way before was the indigenous people, right? So imagine they now being, as we say, being put, as we say, behind, as we say, or put in these facilities. Imagine what the facility was at that time. And in 2025, the state at the facility right now, where we say things evolve, right? And the experience that this brother just brought out, it is like somebody telling you, hey, this is how it is, but actually and true, you actually hear it. Then the brother brought out some, and it's not like, and we tell brothers and sisters that we do condone violence, right? We do support, any as you say, anything that will go against the law, especially the law of the land. We try to keep brothers on that pathway. We deal straight. We tell brothers, hey, in coming or coming to know this, you have to be direct with us, right? And again, as the brother continue to, as you say, as he start to learn more and more about this, he would, we would always, use that example where brothers and sisters again could ask questions. And this is why again we use the opportunity tonight with this platform, especially bringing this brother on the program, so our people, can actually call and ask a question.
Right.
The young black men could call in and ask a question, right? And again, we take this opportunity. So again, callers, feel free to call in, right?
The number to call in is 342-0081 466-5391 or 771-1791.
Right. So
Something we have to also look at too. So like I say, you understand? As you're saying, with young black men and young black women understanding this. The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, it is a school. This school is to teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians their true culture, their true history, their nationality, who they are. You understand? Again, the Bible have absolutely nothing to do with religion.
Right.
The Bible is dealing with a chosen people, a royal people. The 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. When you read the Bible, you could see all the other races or nations in the Bible. Meaning you'll be able to understand the East Indians, the Chinese, the Syrians, the Africans, and what role they played against our people.
Right.
To have our people in this condition that we are in. You understand? And also too is going to learn how we as a people could come out of this condition that we're in. We're in the Christian church and in religion, singing and dancing, generation after generation. But when you look, there's absolutely no change within our black communities, within our families. You understand? But if we as a people start recognizing and understanding who we are, start understanding our identity, what spirit Christ came and put on his people, you understand the laws that Moses laid out for us to follow, then we're going to understand our family is not just subjected to our house. It is not only subjected to our home as we have been taught traditionally with our mother and our father and our brother and our sister.
Right.
You're going to realize all black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, man, woman, and child, they are your family. And there is a way that we're supposed to go about as a people in treating each other, dealing with each other. And if we make errors, how we're supposed to communicate with one another and resolve these matters or that problem. Because everything is in the Bible.
That's right.
You understand? But when we make errors and we go to the other nations in their judicial system or in their way for them to solve the matter, they're going to do as they please or they're going to do as far as they understand. You understand? And when we look at it now, we're spending X amount of years in the jail system or in the prison house or in their system when the Lord showed us exactly what we need to do as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The ghettos could police themselves.
Right.
We don't have to go to the other nations to police ourselves, but these are things that we have been taught. You understand? From generation to generation, but we could police ourselves. We could make our communities better. We could raise our communities in higher standards.
That's right.
You understand? But we must return to what Moses laid out for us and the prophets. We must return to what the Lord tell us as a people we need to do. Because for how much years we're in the church and we are not doing the Bible.
Right.
We're talking it,
Right.
but we are not doing it.
Right.
So like yes.
And again, the point, right? And the importance of us actually knowing who we are, especially today. Imagine we as we say, as the brother brought out that, as we say, being, in a facility, where there's no aid or need or assistance. We under this oppression over 400 years. And the Most High God, as any good father, always make that pathway. And he would always open up ways for his children to make change. Right? He always set that precedent. Because now he, being a father, would always have rules.
Right.
And when he set the rules and again those standards now, the expectation of you going against it, right? There would always be a correction pathway where you could make that change. And our correction pathway is actually turning back to these instructions.
Right.
Right? So, and this is why it's important for us. Right? Yeah, we old. We are.
Remember them that are in bonds in the book of Hebrews.
Right. Go ahead.
Book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Remember them that are in bonds, as bond with them, and them which suffer adversity, as being yourselves also in the body.
Right. And this reminder goes as I say, very, very, very heavy, as we say, very, enlightening as
Right.
well. Because now to know, and as the brother again came to us, we understand, the importance of being a brother
Right.
to our brother. Because now to face challenges in life, especially we know, as we say, throughout North Central and America, even the Caribbean, as a black man coming out of prison, immediately they would always highlight you as somebody, as a threat to society.
Right.
But now that change now could come about with you proving to them that, hey, I have a father. Because now again in this school we have prison programs, we have rehabilitation programs.
Right.
So as a young man, or as we say, as we always call brothers, as the venture towards this, we call them young, because now this is you wanting to make that change within yourself.
Right.
Now as we say, the walk towards that now is that fight. But here the nice thing about it, to know that you have brothers supporting you.
Okay.
All you just have to do is just be a brother. That's why Christ said this, on these two hang all the laws and the commandments. The first is like unto the second, to love the Lord thy God with all your heart, and the second is like unto it, to love your brother as yourself. Now we must understand that love is just not a hug and a kiss.
Right.
That the demonstration of love is actually, meeting your brother.
Right.
You must meet your brother. Because now we, as we say, we face the same challenges daily.
Right.
Now, without that, as you say, the spirit of brotherhood, without that family actually knitting together, our brothers knitting together, now they would win. Why I say the oppressors and them would win? Because now look at their establishment.
Right.
Look at what they build off of us, not knitting together. Yeah. So, take this forward. Yeah. Go ahead, Paula.
Yeah. I'm listening to you and speak about the folks developing themselves even within the prison system. I do believe if folks go back to the word of God, we will be able to develop ourselves. In the school of the prophets, what was taught mainly was poetry. You had the scriptures being taught and trade. And we could see right now with the downturn of the world economy, the people who are making it are the tradesmen. And I believe if our brethren are encouraged to do a trade, it will feel very well for them. It does not say they should not develop themselves academically. Develop yourself academically here, but make sure every born child has a trade. And not only the boys, also the female. Perchance something go wrong with the male of the house, that the female does not want to bear anybody. She has a trade also.
And one of the things we want to look at is how we deal with our women and how our women are being educated. Because you know the strength of the man by the way the woman carries herself, especially his wife and his daughter. And if we are educated along that line, I do believe that we will be a strong people because when the male leaves the house and he goes out to do work or whatsoever, the person who is there to nurture the child and to give the child teaching and so forth is the female. So once a female is well rounded, well educated in the ways of God, that female will be able to set a standard, as the Bible speaks of the virtuous woman, and her husband is known as a result of her. I want to say thank you all for this opportunity of speaking, and you all can just cut me off. I did not take a couple of percent.
Thanks to you as well, Paul. I greatly appreciate your call.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right.
And something that I can say from
Yeah, go ahead.
the caller mentioned there is very important is understanding that aspect of family. You understand? And if we as a people realizing, as you were saying earlier, we are all family. Even if the father of the house go into prison, the mother go into prison, the remaining of the house will understand that they have a family system or a family structure outside the home that is going to support them. You understand? As you just reading them when we read, remember them that are in bonds in the book of Hebrew. You understand? We have to remember the people and them that is in prison.
That's right.
Whether justly or unjustly. This is what the Lord tells us to do. You understand? These are the things that religion and the Christian church supposed to be teaching. Lord tell us to remember them that are in bond. Don't forget your brother and them that is in prison. You understand? Because they might get 2, 3 years, 4, 5 years, and you know, the inside then is just like, yeah, they deserve that.
Yeah.
But when they make the time, they go come out.
A lot of people too, when they know somebody come out of prison, majority of them have a stain with this put on it. Then they start to judge you one time. That's how the country running. So because it have people with love, and it have majority to me no love. Because look like how I joined this movement here as a young brother. Just about 5 minutes before I meet up earlier, I meet up our next group. And next people hold the service line.
Right.
And I tell them my position, I wouldn't tell them I under certain agony, I hungry. I tell them I'm a big man one time because I don't play. I looking for help. Because nobody don't want to hear nobody with the hungry. You know? And them was like, today be Sabbath, it was tomorrow, you know? And a lot of church, I talking, you know, I want a lot of church assistance because I want to change, I'm willing to change, you know? And I'm getting that hand. And it's gonna be this movement.
Right.
5 minutes
school.
after, I was in a store shopping, you know, nobody tried to judge me, they tried to help me. So what I'm saying to the people out there, people say, well, no, a man from prison, a man come out of prison, they don't shade him because people get answer that feel nobody like them and that will inspire somebody to do more shoppiness. You know, think nothing to reach out after that. Help him buy 2 cases of water from game and start. You know, you're not a crime now because anybody could go in prison, you know. Some people go in prison for years and they never do nothing wrong. You know, so let me don't be the judge, let me be the helper. It's just a little more love in the world, a little more understanding. And that will go along with the prisoners who in prison, who listen quite a radio in prison.
Right.
Who listening. I know later stop feeling sorry for themselves. Stay strong as men, or they don't know the or they get opposite and when they come out of jail now, they have to help. They think there'll be no bed or roses. But stay focused because I just feel all kind of things in my mind sometimes. But I still believe in God the Almighty and I stay focused and I still searching for help. Right now, asking anybody who listens to the program who know a publisher who is writing book, you know, or they could contact me and all because I want to write a book. I have things to tell people, you know. My number is 312-2266, you know. And I the help I'm looking for because I want to encourage the people who are in prison who are about to come out to change the direction, you know. So as we say, although see me plenty time again, more and more you'll hear from me on the radio station, along God permitted, and we'll keep encouraging people. And me, I have a lot of prison friends who's in prison, and right now I try to encourage them, I'm pleading with them to try to take my footstep. Although my footstep is imperfect, but it's reaching me. You know, yeah, that's
Right. So again, as the brother say, and he mentioned, joining himself, because now a lot of brothers, as they start to learn now, they want to, join themselves to the truth.
Right.
Because now this is how he joined himself, because now he wants to learn the truth.
Right.
So when he mentioned, he joined himself to this movement, is he joining himself to learn more about the truth.
Right.
He wants to know more about the truth. And as time goes along now, this brother, again, the Lord will prove him.
Right.
The Lord will prove him. And how the Lord will prove him? By he being just like how he was treated, he would, interact or somewhere along might meet our next brother
Right.
and demonstrate that same love, not just by talk,
Right.
as you say, meeting, different movement, but actually learning this truth.
Right.
And this is why we always mention that this truth is something that is not to take. The truth doesn't change. Always remember this.
Right.
The truth doesn't change. We, as we say, the scripture say a righteous man fall, but what he do? He get back up.
Right.
We seen the example of a brother wanting to make that change.
Right.
When the wicked man fall, what he do? The scripture say continue in his ways.
Right.
This brother, again, would be proved. As he say, he joined this movement, as he say, but joining himself to the truth is what is going to prove you.
Right.
Joining, as we join the truth, we would be proved by the way we carry about ourselves, and by the way, as we say, we mention that we want change.
Right.
Change will come about again by just, as we say, here, say, and this, as we say, or let's talk. Change come about by you actually getting involved in the work. Being yourself on, as we say, to know more about this.
Right.
So you shedding yourself, just as we always mention. There's always in the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge, there's always change, and change could be made because we have programs, as I mentioned before.
Correct.
We have prison programs, we have rehabilitation programs,
Drug and alcohol.
we even have, as we say, programs where we feed and clothe our brothers and sisters, even house them. But as that time go along now, this is how you're going to be proved. By you, as we say, being that brother towards, a next brother.
Right.
Or being that brother, in demonstrating, that you down for this truth.
Yeah.
You down for this truth. You down for this work. Because this, again, this since I would say since 1969, brothers, on the ground, the Lord have waking up black men, Hispanic men and Native Indian men, commanding General Yahana, look at we say, at the fruit of the Most High Christ produced through him.
Right.
All the men that stood under the Most High, the prophets are all, there was fruits that sprung, and as the scripture say, brought forth sevenfold, 20, it number them.
Right.
Because these men was about this truth. And as brothers wake up, again coming out at different, as we say, different conditions, they venture to know more about the truth.
Right.
Venture to know more about themselves. Because again, as we tell brothers, this captivity that we are under currently is one of the captivity where we don't even know we identity.
Absolutely correct.
So coming out of that condition, there would be, as we say, there would be pulling and tugging. But here the thing about it, to find the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge is where you would start to learn more about this. Just like we were,
right,
as we say, we have brothers again in the school that walk the pathway as a young man. We had brothers who was on the streets.
right,
and decide, and the Most High God open up their minds to actually want change and pursue along that line. So again, as young man Dave, pursue in this truth, joining himself to this truth, to learn more about this truth. As we encourage brothers, there is a place.
Right.
We advise brothers that here is the only place where you would actually learn the truth.
Okay.
Outside of this, just as you experience
Yeah.
games, not taking a man serious,
Right.
not understanding that, hey, they don't look down on our brother. They don't look down on, as we say, on family.
Right.
Because now, if I call myself, as we say all are we black people, then now, if I look down on you or shun you, then now how all are we could be, the same? Because now when you demonstrating, you in a position where you could assist.
Right.
And just turn away, turn your back on your brother. What we learn in this house is always to remember one thing: to love our brother as ourselves, because we had men who did the same thing for us,
Right. Come on.
demonstrated that same quality in or showing, not just by talk, in showing what love is. And we should always be reminded of that. Right? That's all right. Yeah, go ahead, caller. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Now, what I'm saying, right? It's about prison. Prison can be two most valuable things: time and patience. And that is very important to you, that person who is in prison, so that he can get out of the first prison he ever get out of is the prison of himself from within. Right? So when he come out of the next prison with the man-made prison, you understand? He will be, walking the straight path. See, we follow and we fear man-made laws instead of divine law also, which we're supposed to put the divine laws first. You understand? Justice, love, togetherness, righteousness, all these things, divine laws. We don't fear that. We don't misuse that and fear man-made laws. You understand? So what I'm saying, in order for us to really come back to ourselves, you understand? We need to show that brotherhood. That that could have died. Because I will tell you something, when you're in prison, God give you a chance to develop yourself. You know the Lord said, when you're ready, then you master the first stage. That is what prisoners are about, because look, the person only talking to other person, and what happens? They open the walkout. You understand what I'm saying? The dancing lions, them, you have to develop yourself while you're in jail. And God said, what you bind on earth, will bind heaven. What you bind heaven, will bind. In other words, give me a chance in order to condemn them. Get away from all the stuff, evil thing, all the stuff, wrong thing you're doing. Bind it. Do deal with it. Jealousy, anger, bad mind, envy. All these things have to get out of you. You understand? I want to get out of you. You bind that, so you don't have that. And we're not teaching the children the right thing. You understand? But I got police and open. People might think, but people might be calling, people might be, they walk away from this kind of action. We walk away from that. We believe in it, and we believe in name this and event. Like we choose a speech, name this and event. Like all, nothing uplifts them towards man and their spirit. So my friend, you keep on doing what you are doing and have a God, man.
Yeah,
You too, caller. Yeah. Appreciate your call.
Yeah.
Something when you call, I was just saying this, like I say, that important, that brotherhood.
Mm.
We have to be able to have that brotherhood. You understand?
Mhm.
For one another, that brotherhood and that sisterhood. Look, something a young man Dave was saying earlier.
Mhm.
When he say come out of prison and now he want to show the men and them that in prison still.
Yeah.
You understand? How you could serve the Most High.
Mhm.
How you could start understanding the Lord.
Mhm.
You understand? We have to have that brotherhood and that sisterhood for one another.
So,
That is absolutely important. You understand? And to the caller that just called, the one before and the one that just called, you understand? Excellent points all they bring.
right.
Excellent points. We
Mhm.
have to have that brotherhood. We have to be able to move away. You understand? From these religions and the things that they're teaching us that is not beneficial for us. Otherwise, we're going to keep spiraling in that same place over and over again. As they rightfully say in Salakia, say for me, as they rightfully say, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge is here.
Right.
Come and learn your identity,
Right.
which is most important because we're going to be tying up ourselves in things which we should not be tying up ourselves in.
Mhm.
For example, as we always say, in 2025, people still worshiping that white image,
Mhm.
which is not Christ.
Right.
You understand? Come and learn your identity. Come and learn your history. Come and learn what your forefathers did in serving the Most High. Come and learn the errors
Right.
because our forefathers, they made errors too.
Right.
You understand? But when they made their errors, they understood what is the right footing that they need to put their foot on. You understand? So that's yes, sir.
Right. And just before we close up, I just want to read this figure and as young man Dave brought out earlier in part of the program concerning that life. This is what is allocated, and that's when you read what they allocate in 2025,
Right.
in 2026, as I say, right? But we know that the year begins in spring, right? So what they allocated, in 2025, it say Trinidad and Tobago prison system operates at a significant net cost to the taxpayer. For example, prison services was allocated approximately 517 million for its operations in the 2025 cycle. Right, and when I read in previous years before, it's like 5 billion. So now look at that, what they allocated,
Right.
just to push drugs and guns in the community, just for our brothers and sisters, our brothers, to go down a path where our life of crime, to end up, as we say, to their program to facilitate their business.
Right.
Prison is our business.
Real business.
Is our business, and as the brother say, the Lord was with him, and he was Tibarakatai Hawaii or Shai, for actually bringing it on the program, to making it as you mentioned that, as I mentioned that, to be in awe of the Lord freely. But as we tell brothers, now your pathway now is to walk and to learn more about this truth, to know more. So as we say, our daughters, the scripture says, thou daughters, teach them.
Right.
So now you're learning and being the example as a brother could be, it could set that pathway for younger brothers to come in.
Right. That is the motive, that is the goal, that is what I want, that is what I have in mind. I don't want to go astray. I want to help out my version them in prison to give them an understanding, because my influence good, because how I is in that kind of world, that wicked world of it, I have influence over a lot of people who see I change, who see I willing to change, and want to take that first step after me.
Right.
So I just ask them to hold the faith, hold strong, and patient, pray more. Just stay focused, because we don't know how it is. It's really nice, it will never be nice, and this will surely the best. And just keep on, don't forget the Father Almighty God. Keep on calling them, don't give up. But I'm not giving up. I sleep on a bench 3 nights in Port of Spain, and I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. And most part is tonight. Plenty better than last week. And I hope it's actually more better next week too.
Right.
So God could make that happen alone, nobody else.
Yeah.
Let's try and trust in all this stuff. And before God is going to do, good night to my loving mother and my 2 daughters.
Most time Christ.
Most
Most
time
time Christ. So again, we hear it, from the brother again, again, we sit water, for coming on the program, for sharing, that light, and we encourage brothers and sisters again, young black men in Trinidad, to follow. And again, there's only one pathway, which is to actually know who you are, which is this here, to come in this school. This is why, again, there's a school location here in Trinidad where Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians could learn their culture. And again, we invite, our Hispanic brothers to come on the program. We invite our Native Indian brothers to come on the program and, could share some light as well, just as, this brother did, young man Dave did, right? And, for all brothers and sisters, again, or listening, viewing brothers, again, just stay tuned as well. Again, Commander General Yana is providing, is going to have a food and clothing drive, right? As that time go along, stay tuned to our webpage, right? All our social media pages, right? For the information, right? Again, we have prison programs, we have rehabilitation programs, right? We have programs, to facilitate or to give aid to the so-called Black, Latino, Native Indian, and as well, we don't shun, as we say, even our oppressors, because they would be fed as well.
Right.
Because the scripture say, when the righteous in authority, the whole earth will rejoice, because they will fall, under the righteous umbrella.
Right.
To be, we when as we say, we will neglect, as we say, food to the needy, because that in itself, it goes to show the people who run in this place, right? So just a reminder again, one more thing, the Lord's 57th annual Passover, which will be held in Houston, Texas, right? Which is April 4th, right? Also for brothers and sisters here in Trinidad, you could come on down to the school, April 4th. The next upcoming feast day, which will be the Feast of Purim, right? We tell brothers and sisters as well to come on down, right? Hope to see, young man Dave down there, right? Hope to see young man Dave coming through, as we see, as time go along, Lord allow, he open up that pathway where this brother, would be able to make movements and, be the example as he, mentioned that he would want to be. And that footstep or that start, again, it is you, right? Just like, we were, and we still here today, to be the example amongst the brothers and sisters. We're not separating ourselves, as we say, and feel like, we still fighting. We still fighting that fight. We still, moving. We still, bringing this to brothers and sisters, right? And this is a reminder for us.
Again, don't forget school location, like pole number 1, Morris Street in Point 14. All Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, those are always open to you.
That's right.
Coming to the school, learn history, learn your culture, learn the Bible. Bible have nothing to do with religion. That is your book.
That's right. Right? And
with that,
with that we say,
I just want to say good night to my lovely sister who gave me support. All my little,
right.
Discomfort,
Right.
And good night to Miss Cathy.
Right. Most
good night to Trinidad.
Most right.
With that,
you say,
Shalom.
Shalom.
To all of the listening audience, to all of the callers as well.
To all of the listeners, to all of the callers as well too.